Welcome to the lovely IHP community and the 5D collective. Our topic for the day, which will also integrate other topics involving those of us who have a heart with a whole self, and so we are the ones for ourselves, which is why we bring out the best in each other, because securely attached, non-traumatized people, as we talk about here at IHP, because that's what I am. I can't be a mentor for anyone that doesn't want to help themselves to be their true self. And I've noticed that a bunch of people think they are their true self. In the meantime, I can tell the difference because a siren is basically an orphan that in fact will not notice that they are not really supposed to stay that exile protector. Okay, so we're going to get to a bit of this and a bit of that. I am again attachment trauma informed, and as a mystic I'm in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, and I do consider myself all of it. I'm Anima Mundi, shaman, guru, prophet, even though that one brings me back to my Christian Catholic upbringing, and so it feels a little wrong to use those words, but I'm not imprisoned by my left mode, and I'm not a child anymore. And I actually love academia, and I love smart people, and I'm an online marketer and entrepreneur, and I don't like clickbait. And in fact, there is a video that I was watching today. I wasn't going to click on it because of the way the title is and all of it. I'm like, this is not cool. And then I said, but wait a minute, because the topic I actually really enjoy, and the person seems to be an expert, so let me just ignore the shitty title and the shitty picture and click on it so that I can see if it is of value. And it was, and it is. In fact, I can't wait to do the 2-minute interview. No, 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours, not 2-minute interview. So long story short, that's why I am a loving, equanimous, discerning mind. Thank you, God, for being able to talk sense into me. God is discerning, equanimous love to me. And if you are curious, I'm a co-author with another 8 amazing spiritual authors of the book, The Ways to God, which shares with you a mosaic of different paths that we all have, and we are open to everyone because that's what lovers are. We're not afraid to lose our identity. We're not stingy with our masks because we have none. Authenticity wears no mask. Comedians, on the other hand, well, again, that's why I wasn't going to click on that thing, and also because I've seen some interviews. Long story short, I'm going to leave it alone, but the child who needs Patrick Tiahan, they don't go to him. So I don't have anything interesting to say about the 3D, 4D brothers and sisters, except for I knew that they would stick around. I just didn't want to believe that they would, because I have faith in you, and that means that I know you can heal yourself for real, not pretend. And that's because the first step to your healing is that you have all your chakras aligned, and basically your child parts, and that you know how to work with your 0-1 attached panicky, 3-7 shame submissive, freeze of all ages, flight 11-12, and fight 14-15-16. I don't have them come out of the woodwork except for my 3-year-old, but that's a really snap and done deal, and it's only with my mother and my twin. So is it justified? No, they get apologies when it happens. But my mother taught me manners with everybody else, so when I have a man who, after fucking 3 years of not being their friend, in an evening where they're drunk, they're not decent enough to be saluted, I did the polite thing because, again, insecure human beings, they're still my brothers and sisters, and God keeps coming in and reminding me not to judge human suffering. And Buddha makes fun of me because he's like, ha ha, you're going to get the spotted. And I'm like, yeah, 3D, 4D, I know. So they are like the avoidant who said, you're picking on avoidance, so I'm going to come talk about avoidance. And I told my therapist, why should I do mindfulness? You're just seeking to patch me up. Life is suffering anyway, so I'm just going to stay this way. Really, I'm not fond of any of that, which is laziness. And that's a lazy person because they don't want to learn how to use their nervous system with a healthy self-soothing. It's really amazing when you have no hole in your heart and this longing that has you do basically unnecessary dramatics. And so that's the part when I see the fancy lady in her suit saying it's dangerous to have no emotions. She gave me a flashback to people who said, you have no emotions. Yes, I do. I'm not dramatic. You must be pretending. I bet beneath that smile there's a bunch. Wow. Really, if I told you what I thought, it would be, you really aren't nice to me. You really want me to suffer. And you know what happens when somebody accuses you of the same? And it's not true. It's just you have this thing called I have dreams that are not just dreams. Oh yes, I'm a mystic. Did I mention that? So when someone says I'm woo-woo pseudoscience, I'm okay with that. When someone doesn't want to believe in my mysticism, I'm okay with that too, because a spiritual person don't prove shit. I don't have to prove to you anything. Also, usually the people who put into question any of that, which is mysticism and spirituality, are the same ones. Why would you be talking to me? When someone, though, says to me, neuroscience, ha ha ha, everyone has something to believe in, I'm thinking, okay, no. I know Sam Harris, and I am with him. I know that any of my cherishable beliefs, I love you, God, could be falsifiable. Neuroscience is not everyone needs something to believe in. Okay, this is why I don't like clickbait. Also, I'm an online marketer with what is called integrity, authenticity, quality, not quantity. Anybody who doesn't understand quality is not a successful entrepreneur. In my book, they in fact will not notice that it takes 2 hands and 2 feet and a consistency. Now, the ones who are motivated by it ain't how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Again, life don't fucking hit you. That's really disrespectful towards God, who gave you 2 hands and 2 feet. It's a self agent here you got. And again, the self, it's a higher self. It's not my little child part. I lost a piece of paper. I don't need somebody to reassure my 0-1-year-old, you see? And so when I see somebody out there who is looked up to and praised, those are those false icons, by the way. When I see anyone putting books on a pedestal and anybody who doesn't understand science and spirituality come together, I think, well, you must not be educated by smart human beings. You must have been following the pseudo-intellectual ones, and obviously that means your brain is dumb. And I'm trying to be respectful because I'm not the smartest genius in the block, but I do know a copycat when I see one, and again, it's because their nervous system speaks to me. So I'll hear that siren and I won't be like, oh my God, they're offending me. No, what happens, let me pause myself. I am an empowered feminine, and that means I got Kali, but I also got Shiva because I'm my own empowered masculine. And I thank my actual Shiva, which is a lovely empowered feminine, got me to understand something. I already knew my empowered masculine was going to lead me to exactly where I wanted to be. And that's because I know what I am. My name is Maria. I'm empowered and I love being a human. And as a teenager, I'd say, you're crapping on yourself when you say humans suck and evil wins. And also, no, Lucifer fell. He's not up. Don't you see? He got hit to the ground and he can't get up. He can't physically get up. And so creating stories is the best thing they can do with their shadow and their unseen. And instead they could go to Patrick Chan and be actual brave boys and girls and all of them. Is that going to happen, God? No, I know it won't, but it's not Lucifer. Stop talking about my brothers and sisters as demons. Also, when I see somebody saying that the universe is a mistake, no. The universe isn't a mistake. Let's go grab dark matter, dark energy, and the Big Bang, and there you go. Science gives me an explanation, which is, oh, did you not have the capacity to be in the unknown with your human secondary consciousness and to accept that you have meaningfulness and meaninglessness? Here, Shiva, come on over, because that's exactly where you'll find a expert yogi without being a yogi. Thanks, Sadhguru, because I got a human secondary consciousness that says, don't you know that when you wake up in the morning, it's your thoughts and your feelings? Avoidant, how you doing with that suffering bit? Are you doing any better? Oh, you must have found a Zen master who allows you to drag your pain point around. So when I see people who don't know how to get up, their whining reminds me of teenagers. And then I laugh because the pseudo-intellectual lady. Oh, when one person says, I'm going to dismantle all of modern day therapy, and people follow that person and then they follow other idiots. Again, I do love the masses. No, I don't. I actually think, why the fuck? Excuse me. Thank you. So that's my chiming in. Cosmic karmic balance. Yes, I don't enjoy seeing anyone suffer, but I do know that I cannot help to lift anyone up because it's your nervous system, not mine. So it's not something that I do. Let me pat anybody on the back. Nope. Smart experts. The sciences have actually cracked the code. Your inner well-being, yes, it's you. And the ones who don't like to hear it, they in fact will avoid them like a hawk. And that's okay because they won't want to be near someone like me because I will actively be in my ventral energy. And as I walk around with no suffering, not even a little bit, they will have one of 2 recourses of actions. Stop engaging with the human being who does not enter into temporal junction and, doing bullshit. Or engage and enjoy, and that is something that happens. I have plenty of comedians around me because they don't actually suck my energy because I'm not the one in the modulated or dysregulated embodiment, and I have learned how to differentiate. That's what mindfulness practices are for. I didn't even know I was doing it. Thanks, Dr. Daniel Siegel, for giving me the tidbit when I asked him about, hey, Dr. Dan, so I'm a mystic. No, I didn't say that. I respect science. I just said I'm a mentor, content creator, podcast host. I'm a Reiki master. I believe I was able to mention that because he knows about Reiki. But either way, I said I sometimes will perceive you, and I explained to him what is going on, and he's like, Maria, I think you need to differentiate more. And I said, yes, okay. And no cutting of cords, no visualization of a lovely energy, although I've put those things into practice. And that helps for sure. It's kind of like the placebo effect. And that's why I'm woo-woo pseudoscience. And that's why I love science and spirituality coming together, because I know that crystals, I got a bunch of them right here, they definitely have a frequency, and I'm a frequency. And so I know that their frequency actually affects my frequency because I am an object, the flesh is. And I know that I don't need to prove it. So here's why there's no competition. Again, there's plenty of grounded in reality people who love to bring it together. Empirical mysticism, sciences, and spirituality. And when you're a whole person, that's why you don't suffer life. And that's also why the universe is not a mistake. So whenever I see any of my brothers and sisters talking about us being a mistake, that's when Kali comes up. Because I have Shiva and Krishna Lila, because I have Maria's prefrontal cortex online, I'm able to maintain that which is my mastery. And that is because I'm an Akashic record reader. So mental, emotional, physical mastery. Yes, the universe and humanity are not mistakes. Who's a mistake is no one, but the brothers and sisters who think that they are special. That's why we're happy they have a place called, yes, flat earthers. Keep having fun. So the ones who go down the rabbit hole, they can keep going there. We're going to continue talking about to be a self-agent and how we can bring out the lover or siren in ourselves, because that's a choice. And the smart ones don't bring out the siren, meaning they're modulated embodiment, okay? So the restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating person here can tell you all about how amazing it is to be in my prefrontal cortex, which is why self-help is only going to help the ones who help themselves, which is meaning you know how to lift yourself up from the floor in your nervous system. And that's because you choose integration. So you have curiosity, openness, and acceptance and love. You have also connection, openness, and awareness and love. So without compassion of yourself, you have nothing. And that's why the sirens, they keep on being orphans, but they're actually all hanging out together, as Diego's family does, bitching at each other, creating big, and I think, wow, didn't anybody learn about cells in biology or history class, like how politics works? Securely attached, non-traumatized people are considered boring by the ones who I consider boring and a waste of my fucking time, and who God keeps telling me to remember. That's how I'm going to keep learning how to tell you how to be yourself. Mindfully, for real. And if you do, I want to be myself, Patrick Jahan, he teaches you how to love yourself first, be yourself, and tear real. Go there. Don't come back until you become at the very bare minimum a functional adult, because I'm a functional child adult and I love to learn, live, laugh, and expand and not cast stones. And I don't worry about the future, because I do have faith in God. And that's something you can't take away from a person of faith, which is why anybody who's smart enough to have actual faith will know Lucifer doesn't ever win. Fallen angel. Just saying, they can keep using their ancient textbooks and throwing it at the polyamory community, at the sex revolution community, at everything. Keep throwing them. The only idiots who follow those people are the same ignorant idiots who I have to hear neuroscience, everything. And okay, you know what? But not even enough to be saluted. This person's a published poet. They're all dressed up and fancy as they walk around, and I wonder, where the fuck is your wife, and why are you picking on me? And no, I didn't do any of that. I just had a fun story to share. So I thank them. See, my brothers and sisters, they give me humor, and I bring it to you. We'll be back with more. Have a good one.